Hey there YouTube, this is old Ghost Rider here, putting together a little demonstration video on a vertical antenna kit that I put up for my I-Max 2000 ground plane antenna. I got this off of eBay from GoVerticalUSA.com's website. I've got their card here, so you can check that out on eBay or directly here at their website. So we put up about a 32 foot temporary military spec surplus antenna mast that is made up of several sections. And I wanted to get this video together for old Blue, who wanted to see this and hopefully help him out a little bit. Maybe he's thinking about doing the same thing. So I'll just start right here over at the pole itself, and we'll show the base of the pole, how it's set up. So the kit comes with a plate that slips over a rotating knuckle base that you can see right here that bolt goes through. And this knuckle base has a spike on it. It's about 12 inches long. You just hammer that to the ground, and you take your first pole section here, and the female end of the pole slips over the top end of that knuckle section, and there's a collar on the spike that bears against this plate here that just slips through, bears against the plate. That keeps it from sinking on down in the ground. The sections themselves are about 1 3/4 to 1 7/8 diameter. They're about 4 feet long each. It's got a male end and a female end on each section. And just stack them up and put the guy rings at a couple of sections. The wind's blowing pretty good out here today, but it holds up pretty good under. We've had some 30 or 40 mile an hour winds, no issues at all. I'll show you what comes in the kit. This is $130 on eBay, military surplus. You get 8 4-foot nominal pole sections. You get the carry bag that you can house all the poles in. I believe you get 2 of these guy rings that you slip around one of the sections. It's got 4 holes in each. You can either do a 4-direction guy or a 3-direction guy. You get a stake bag with 12 aluminum stakes. Those might be steel. Not too sure about that. I hadn't looked at that. I didn't use the stakes on mine. I used something else. I'll show you in a minute. You also get 2 temporary feet if you want to do a short antenna, maybe 12, 15 feet tall, and make it very temporary, like you're out doing a remote installation. You're just going to have it up for a little while. You got one base that you can insert the male end into and use it, or the other base has a female end, a male end to slip into the female end of the pole. Both of those come in the kit. The rope does not come in the kit. I just got it sitting here. This is an extra ring section I didn't end up using. May use it later. I got 500 feet of this 3/16 inch Dacron rope here. It's real good, real solid, and 500 foot roll of that is plenty to do a 30 to 40 foot section tower with 2 levels of guys, and maybe even 3. Walk over here to the ground anchors. These obviously are pretty important. So what I did is I bought these at Tractor Supply. They're about, I want to say they're a foot to maybe 16 inches long. It's got an auger on the bottom of them. You just take a long piece of rebar and a hammer, drive it in the ground a little bit, turn it counter or clockwise as it starts to grab, go on down into the ground, get that thing seated down in the ground, and it's very sturdy for the heights that we're talking about here. The couple of lines of guy ropes going off of it. I use a midshipman's hitch on that, so it's adjustable, and at the end of the hitch I used about 10 or 12 half hitches to kind of seal that off, keep it from going anywhere. But I can undo this series of half hitches back to the midshipman's hitch, and I can adjust this up and down, tighten it or loosen it as required. Quick look at the antenna. Antenna is an I-Max 2000, 5/8 wave ground plane kit on it, and the U-bolts are attached to the top mast. I've got the top ring just above that connection point and give it some good stability. And you'll notice there at the bottom I've got about 8 to 10 turns of the coax, about an 8-inch diameter for an RF choke. It keeps some of that RF noise out of the system. So I've got 3 guys at each level, and I got 2 levels of guys, and planned those out at 35 feet around the base of the mast. So I've got one here in the ground, and I've got another one actually tied into a fence post over here, where you can see them attaching with a couple of lag screw type eye bolts. And the biggest challenge for what I was doing was trying to keep the guy ropes from being in my way out in the yard. So I got one across the fence there going into the flower bed, and I got one, like I said, at the fence, which keeps me clear of my gate, and I can still get my tractor or a vehicle under there without too much trouble. And I've only got one out here in the actual yard that I have to kind of get around when we cut grass. So that was the hardest thing, was to find a position for that didn't interfere. And I went and just bought a 2-inch pipe type attachment grounding lug from Lowe's, and some heavy copper wire. I got that attached to an 8-foot ground rod that's down in the ground. Get this thing grounded out. Make sure it don't get a lightning strike on it, or if we do, it's got a good possibility of going to the ground instead of into the system. I just came off of the hole itself at the first guy level there with my coax. Let the coax run down to there, and I've got it just across and into the back of the house here. Got another little loop there, take up some extra slack, and you can see I've got a barrel connector right there that's connected to some more coax up in the attic. Foam around that, make sure it doesn't rub, and keep critters out. So yeah, that's basically it. Base station antenna, about 32 feet, and very easily on normal 4-watt power that comes with CB radio, able to get out 50 to 60 miles so far, fairly easily. So one other thing I want to show you is that antenna came in stark white. And I looked online, there's several people that have painted theirs with a satin type of OD green paint. This is Rust-Oleum's version. It's good for plastic or metal or other surfaces, but you want to make sure it's a non-metallic paint where it doesn't have any kind of metal flecks or anything in it. But one coat of that on the antenna supposedly has no effect. I haven't noticed any myself. So anyway, that's about the long and the short of it, and I hope this is helpful, and clear skies.